Hey everyone, it's Victor here, and welcome to scotTRANS. Now, this week's topic is T in LGBT. And before I get going, I just want to explain why I have a huge scarf the size of my face wrapped around me. It's because it's freezing, absolutely freezing out there, and there's a storm. It's very windy and it's quite cold in the house, so I have like my poncho on and my big scarf, and it's nice and cozy, and I'm cozy, I'm the cozy boy. So yes, that is why I look like I have no neck. I actually don't have any neck, just fabric. But yeah, this week's topic is interesting, because I certainly think that the T in LGBT is very often ignored. And I think quite a lot of people don't really know what it stands for. I think a lot of people kind of see, like, when they say LGBT, they kind of just think, oh, you know, gay people. Like, they don't really think about people who are trans, and people who are trans and straight, especially. I feel like in the trans community and the LGBT community, if you're a straight trans person, there's a lot of kind of, what's the word? People, kind of, push you away from pride events and things and think like, oh, why is there straight people here? Like when actually that person is trans. So yeah, I think it's a real issue when it comes to kind of the inclusion of trans people in the LGBT community. And it's kind of odd sometimes because, the T is there, standing for trans, but it never really feels that way. I've actually never been to a pride event. Ever. I want to, but I've heard stories that people feel, straight trans people feel very excluded from LGBT events and things like that. I think it is quite important to discuss this, because it can lead to trans people feeling like they can't really find support or, feel part of that community. I think for me, it's different because obviously I'm a trans male but also gay. So I suppose at one point maybe in my, transition maybe where people maybe think I'm a cis guy, and I'm at a pride event and I'm like, oh, I'm gay. But they might not think like, oh, he's trans and gay. They might just look at the gay part. So you can see how if you were like a straight trans guy, that would be kind of uncomfortable if you're at an LGBT event and then someone's like, why are you here? And you're like, I'm trans, but it feels like, it's more about sexuality at LGBT things rather than about gender. But yeah, I think there is a distinct lack of awareness of what the T actually means in LGBT. People say it all the time. People say like, oh, we gotta fight for LGBT rights. But quite a lot of those times, those people are not people that understand trans issues. And, I think being trans in the LGBT community is the kind of minority in the LGBT community. There's a minority within a minority, and that is trans people. I really feel that. And I know for a fact that in the cis male gay community, there's a lot of transphobia. And that's really uncomfortable. Obviously, I don't know about the cis female gay community. I'm sure there are, nasty people in that too. But, like I say, it's fair enough to say, oh, of course, I'm gay, so I support LGBT rights. But it's like, well, you have to make sure you're an ally for every single letter in LGBT. Obviously, it's not just LGBT, it's LGBTQIA something, etc. That's all I remember. So yeah, I think especially within the LGBT community, there needs to be more awareness of the T in LGBT. There really needs to be education. And hopefully, in scotTRANS, all of us here in scotTRANS, and everyone else who is raising awareness about being trans and stuff like that, then hopefully more people will be aware of it. I kind of feel like this day and age there are more people who are coming out, who are not afraid to come out, and people who are expressing their gender, and more trans people in media and stuff like that. So I think it is moving forward, but we are by no means out of the woods. So please, if you're a part of the LGBT community and you're not trans, please just educate yourself. Realize that, you know, your brothers and sisters and siblings in the trans community really need your support. You know, it's not just cis allies and things like that. You know, we need people who are cis and gay and, you know, in the queer community, but not necessarily trans. I realized that was a lot of rambling. I hope that made sense. I was trying to get across what I had to say. I have had a cold and I'm feeling very shivery today, so maybe I'm not making sense, but I hope it has made some sense. If it has, leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out everyone else's videos for this week and all the other weeks, of course. You can spend your day doing that if you want. I would highly recommend it. It's very riveting stuff. But anyway, make sure you stay cozy. Remember the T in LGBT. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday.